What's going on, guys? Kyle Vasson out here with another video, doing something a little bit different today. I actually have never done a rod and reel arsenal video, and I figured start of 2020, well, a little late in January, but still, and I figured I'd give you guys a little insight of what gear and stuff I use, kind of the purpose of what I have it for, and just give you kind of down low on what I got. So yeah, let's get started. First one we got, this rod is a Dobbins Colt Series 7.3. I believe it's the 734. So this guy, and it paired up with a Lew's speed spool, and I use this one. It's pretty versatile. I mean, I can use it for just about anything I want, but I've mainly been using it for when I go out to like spot lakes, like McClure, Don Pedro, stuff like that. I use it for like a finesse jig rod. But I also have it for a chatterbait rod for the Delta, Clear Lake, stuff like that. Use it for Senkos, you know, all around a pretty, you know, versatile rod. Right now I have 50-pound braid on here, and then a 12-pound leader. That just gives me a lot more, you know, I can sense the bottom, feel a lot better, all that. All right. So my next rod here is another Dobbins. This one's a Sierra Series 705. This one right now, I believe this bait is a Odyssey or swim bait. Everything right now is like set up for Shasta, so that's how everything is right now, pretty much. And I got that on a Lew's Mach 1, I think it's a Mach 2 actually, speed spool. This one also pretty versatile. I mean, I've used some swim baits on it. I do a lot of flipping with it. It's a 7-foot, so I love this thing for like skipping jigs under docks and stuff like that. And it's just great when you gotta pitch a bunch of times instead of using like a 7.6. Just a lot easier and lighter. Definitely like that. I've used this rod for a while now. No problem, no complaints. And yeah, great rod. So next, we got another Dobbins. This one is a Fury Series. This is the 705 crankbait rod, and I got a Lew's Laser MG on there. This thing is beat up. I've used this a lot. Not a deep cranking rod, but you know, square bills. I use this for jerk baits, LVs, all that. You know, it's pretty versatile in the crankbait area. I wouldn't use a 6XD. It's just, it doesn't have that much power to it. I would need a bigger rod for that. But for what I like, I throw a lot of square bills, you know, with the Delta, and that's one thing I really like to do. And right now I actually have a 5XD on there, and that works fine for it. I wouldn't go any, you know, bigger crankbait on there. And this Laser MG is a 7-1-1. I don't tend to matter what my gear ratio is for cranking or anything like that, just because I know usually what the tempo is, and I can vary it off of when I want. I know a lot of people use like slow gear ratios, but that to me I don't really think matters that much. So next we got a Powell Max 3D. It is a 7.6 medium heavy, and this guy is paired up with a Lew's Tournament speed spool. This one right here I use for a lot, mainly like flipping or light punching. Right now it's set up for you know, like punching the cheese and the Delta, and I will use it for flipping, stuff like that. But I also will use this for Alabama rigs, even like a small glide bait, like an S-Waver, whatever the smaller size is. I can't think of it right now, but you know what I'm talking about. That usually is what I use it for. I think I have 50-pound braid on here. Pretty versatile, don't need to go super heavy, but gets the job done. Right. Next is my punching rod, which is a iRod Genesis 2 711, and paired up with a 13 Fishing Concept A. This Concept A I wouldn't recommend buying, just because I mean, haven't really used it that much, but it's the casting on it's just gone. Like I punch with an 1.5 ounce weight, and it's kind of struggles sometimes to just flip it out there still. So I know I'm not trying to hate on anybody, but just that's my opinion on it. But I like the drag, how it's, heavy drag. I don't have to worry about slipping, nothing like that. And the Dobbins punch rod, that thing, I've loved this. I've used this thing for like 5 years now. Haven't had a problem. Definitely great punching rod if you're looking for one. Next, we got another Dobbins Fury. As you can probably tell by the logo there, it's pretty beat up. This is a 7.3. It's a 735, and this guy is paired up with a 13 fishing Inception. I haven't really used this guy in a while since it's winter time, but still. This guy mainly frog rod and flipping rod. That's pretty much all I'll really use it for. Maybe some like heavier top water sometimes, but for the most part that's it. And yeah, fast gear ratio on here though, 8:1:1. I do like the fast gear ratios of that, and just because when you're casting a frog, if something blows up there, burn it back really quick, and you can usually try and get it back. But that's good. Next up, we got a Powell Diesel. This guy's freaking old. I think this guy's like 6 years old. 7.3, heavy, fast action. Linked up with a loose speed spool. I believe this is the Mach 1. This guy's also pretty beat up. This guy I've had for a while. And this rod, another versatile rod. Right now I'm using it for spooning. You'd use it for jigs sometimes, Senkos, swim jigs, all, or spinner baits too. I mean, even this pretty versatile rod. I got no complaints. And yeah. Next up, we got my swim bait / glide bait rod. It is a Dobbins Fury. It is the 795, and right now I have that paired up with a Shimano Curado, which I love Curados. This model, for the life of me, I can't. It's the Curado 201, and not a lot of people like them. I don't mind them. I like the older ones too, for like, we use a lot of those for salmon fishing, but just a really, pretty beefy reel, but does well, always casts fine for me. Got a Huddleston on there right now, and no complaints about it. The rod, I do like it. I actually really like it for HUDs, and then also the S-Waver 200 size, that works really well. It says it's rated to 5 ounces, but I wouldn't throw a 5-ounce bait on here. I would say it's rated maybe to a 4 ounce. It is a little under or overrated, I would say, but still great rod, no complaints. Next up, we got a Powell Diesel paired up with a loose speed spool, and this guy I've mainly been using for like A rigs, and then the smaller S-Waver, which I now remember is the 168 size. Works great for that. It's only rated to 1 ounce, but you can go over that. I have no problem throwing that S-Waver on here, which I think is like an ounce, and it's over 1.5 ounces. I know that, and I don't have any concerns with breaking the rod or anything like that. And then I got 50-pound braid on here with a 17-pound fluoro leader. That's good. For my last bait casting setup, I got another Powell Diesel. This is a 7.2 medium heavy fast action paired up with a Daiwa Tatula. This guy right here I use a lot for like my underspins, swim baits, use some chatterbaits on here, Senko, just pretty overall versatile rod. I use it right now on, for Shasta. It'll be used for an underspin. Got that 15-pound test fluorocarbon. I've had this reel I think for about 1.5 years now, and it's held up pretty well, I would say. It's my only Daiwa. I actually needed it for a tournament. I need another reel for a tournament, and they didn't have any. Didn't have a big selection, but I figured I'd give it a shot, and seems doing pretty well. All right, so now for the spinning rods. First up, we got 13 Fishing Fate Black Series. Yep, this is a 7.1 medium heavy, and I have a Browning fishing reel. I got this from Bass Pro. It was on sale. I'm not a huge spinning rod guy. That's kind of why I only have a few here. But I mean, I have no complaints about this. I love this thing for like shaky heads, tubes, Ned rigs, wacky Senko. Overall, very versatile rod. I have no problems with it. It's not like super stiff to where I can't throw super finessey stuff, and it's not too light where I can't throw wacky Senko and like at the Delta and I'm worried about fish dragging me into the toolies and stuff like that. So next up for the spinning rods, we got a Dobbins Fury series. This is the 702, and I have that paired up with an Ardent fishing or spinning reel. This guy I've been using a lot for like Ned rigs, shaky heads, drop shot from occasion, but mainly I think it's been for shaky heads or Ned rigs as of lately. And for Shasta right now I just got a Ned rig on there. I should have said for all my spinning reels I have 20-pound braid, and then the leader varies. I'll go from 10 to 6 pound. On here I got 8-pound leader, fluorocarbon of course. And for the last rod and reel combo, it is a Dobbins Colt Series 702. And I got that paired up with the Lew's crush reel. Matches up pretty well, I would say. Just this one I pretty much use for drop shots. That's all I really use this guy for. I've got this rod not too long ago, and I do definitely like it. It's not super soft. My last Powell Inferno drop shot rod, it was like super sensitive, and this one's just a little less, and I do think that helps me on my hookup ratio. I've had a bad track record of losing a lot of fish on drop shot. If you ever ask Greg or see Greg in any of those videos, he always complains about how I miss so many fish on it, but it is what it is. Like I said, 20-pound braid. On here I'm running a 6-pound fluorocarbon leader. For drop shots I usually like to run 6, maybe on a bigger or a lake where I got a little bigger fish, I'll go to 8-pound, but that's the most I'll go on it. Alright guys, so that is going to conclude my 2020 rod and reel arsenal video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Figured I'd just share what I got for 2020. Might be picking up a rod here and there, but for as of right now, that's what I got. Got Shasta coming up here next weekend. Very stoked for that. As you could probably tell, I got a lot of stuff set up for there. Hopefully gonna be it's gonna be interesting, we'll just say that. So yeah, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. Give me a big thumbs up if you like this video, and peace.